Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I tell you what, folks, this General Hospital storyline with Cassius has really pulled at my heartstrings, something fierce these past few weeks. I've been watching the show on and off for a good long while now, and let me tell you, seeing that young man's journey unfold has me sitting on the edge of my old recliner every single time. For weeks, they kept poor Cassius wrapped up in all that mystery, like he was living in some shadow world. We in the audience knew the truth. He wasn't really Nathan. He was tangled up in that twisted mess left behind by Faison. You'd figure that finally coming face to face with the mother he never even knew existed would be the moment that changed everything for the better. The big turning point he'd been searching for his whole life. But bless his heart, it didn't work out that way at all. Instead, it just made his pain deeper and his loneliness heavier than ever. I remember watching that scene under Windermere and thinking how heavy the air must have felt. Cassius finally laid it all out there and told Liesl the whole truth about who he really was. Can you imagine what that must have been like for her? After all those long decades, she learned she'd been lied to about her own flesh and blood. Madeline had deceived her in the cruelest way possible, hiding the fact that she had two sons, not just one. And right there, in that first real conversation between mother and son, he had to deliver the worst blow of all, telling her that Nathan, his twin brother, was truly gone. That death hung over their meeting like a dark cloud that just wouldn't lift. It wasn't the warm, tearful reunion you hoped for after so many years apart. There were no happy childhood memories to share, no laughter to heal old wounds, no simple hugs that say, "Welcome home, son." Nope. Just layer after layer of betrayal, secrets, and heartbreaking loss. Cassius had spent years believing he belonged to Faison's dark world. Then he discovered he was actually the twin who was stolen away as a baby before his mama even got the chance to hold him. All that searching for a place to belong, all that hope, and it ended up leaving him feeling more alone than before. You know, it makes an old guy like me reflect on family and how precious it really is. In my own life, I've seen friends and neighbors go through their share of hardships, lost loved ones, broken homes, folks chasing that feeling of belonging, only to have the truth knock them sideways. That's exactly what happened to Cassius. He stood there finally with his real mother, and instead of finding peace, he had to watch her world crumble right in front of him. Liesl's face, when she realized the depth of the lies, it just broke my heart. Both of them robbed of so many years they should have had together. Years of birthdays, holidays, simple everyday moments that families are supposed to share. I kept shaking my head while watching and muttering to myself, "Lord have mercy, when is this boy going to catch a break?" Ryan Pavey does such a fine job showing Cassius's quiet strength mixed with all that buried pain. And Kathleen Gady as Liesl, she brings so much real emotion to it. You feel every bit of her shock and sorrow. It reminds you that life, even in a wild place like Port Charles, isn't always fair. Sometimes the truth doesn't bring healing right away. Sometimes it just opens up wounds you didn't even know were still there. What gets me most is how this whole thing shows the cost of secrets and lies. Madeline's deception didn't just steal time, it stole an entire family connection. Cassius's search for belonging turned into something so much more painful than he ever expected. No wonder he walked away from that meeting feeling even more isolated. My heart truly goes out to him and to Liesl too. She's carrying her own heavy burden now, knowing she missed out on raising both her boys. I'll keep tuning in every day, hoping the writers give this young man some real comfort down the road. Because if anyone deserves to finally find a sense of home and a mother's love, it's Cassius. These stories on General Hospital aren't just drama for drama's sake. They mirror the real struggles so many of us face in life. Family, loss, forgiveness, and the long road to healing. It's messy, it hurts, but it's real. And that's why I can't stop watching. What about you? Does this storyline hit you the same way? I sure hope things start looking up for that boy soon. He's earned it. I tell you what, folks, what really pulls you deep into this Cassius storyline on General Hospital is how the poor guy is stuck smack dab in the middle between two families, never quite fitting into either one. It's like he's standing on a tightrope with one foot in each world, but nobody's reaching out to steady him. On one side, you've got Liesl, who's just learning she has this whole other son she never even got to hold as a baby. To her, Cassius is a stranger and a miracle all at once, the child she was robbed of for decades. On the other side, the Faison family looks at him as this walking reminder of all the ugly lies and secrets they kept hidden for years. He's got blood ties pulling him both ways, but neither side seems ready to fully open their arms and say, you belong here with us. That kind of in-between feeling is a hard, lonely road, and watching it unfold has me shaking my head and feeling for the boy every single episode. The real heartbreaker came when Liesl finally took in the whole painful truth. After Cassius laid everything bare, the kidnapping, the lies Madeline told, the loss of Nathan, she hauled off and slapped him right across the face. Now, I'm an old man who's seen his share of life's messes, and I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. But Lord have mercy, you could understand exactly where that slap came from. Liesl was drowning in grief for everything she'd missed. All those birthdays, holidays, quiet mother-son talks that should have happened but never did. Her world had just been turned upside down, and the pain came pouring out. And poor Cassius, bless his heart, he was standing there with his own lifetime of hurt, hoping against hope that finding his real mama would somehow make things right. Instead, he got another wound on top of all the old ones. Both of them had every reason in the world to be torn up inside. That scene under Windermere wasn't just dramatic, it felt raw and real, like something that could happen in any family when long-buried secrets finally come to light. You sit there on your couch, coffee getting cold in your hand, just waiting for that moment to bring some kind of breakthrough. You want to see a connection spark between them, maybe a hesitant hug, a few soft words of understanding, or at least a small sign that Cassius has finally found where he belongs. But no, sir, that's not how it went. Every new truth that spilled out only seemed to dig the knife in deeper. The more they talked, the more the distance between them grew. Cassius walked into that meeting carrying years of searching, thinking he was part of Faison's dark shadow, then learning he was the stolen twin. And after meeting Liesl, instead of feeling rooted, he ended up feeling even more adrift. It's the kind of story that makes you reflect on your own life. I've known good people who spent years chasing family connections, only to find more heartache waiting on the other side. Family's supposed to be your safe harbor, but sometimes it feels like the storm itself. That right there is the real tragedy of Cassius all wrapped up. He finally found both sides of his family, the mother who never knew him, and the twisted legacy of the man who helped steal him away, but he still has no place he can truly call home. No warm kitchen table where he feels welcome, no roots that feel solid under his feet. Just echoes of betrayal, loss, and that quiet ache of not belonging anywhere. It breaks your heart because you see how much he wants it, how much he needs it. Ryan Pavey plays that quiet, wounded strength so well you forget he's acting. And Kathleen Gaddy as Liesl brings every bit of a mother's sorrow to the screen. These folks in Port Charles go through more drama than most of us ever will. But this particular story feels close to real life in the way it shows how secrets can steal years and leave everyone bruised. All I can say is this whole mess has me hooked like never before. I keep tuning in day after day, hoping the writers give Cassius a little light at the end of this long tunnel. Maybe one day Liesl will be able to look at him and see not just the pain, but the son she deserves to know. Maybe he'll find a way to make peace with both sides of his story and carve out his own sense of belonging. Because if there's one thing this old life has taught me, it's that family is worth every bit of struggle, even when it hurts like the dickens. Cassius has carried enough sorrow for one lifetime. He deserves to finally find his peace in a place where he's truly wanted. I'll be right here watching with you, rooting for that boy with all my heart. These stories remind us that even in the darkest times, there's always room for healing if folks are willing to keep trying.